Thank you for that little tip, Crystal. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Carmine.
That's a little inside joke, everybody. The record tip that Crystal just gave us. But I think that Carl will be joining us shortly.
The number is not working.
Okay, are we ready? Is Carl on? Are we ready to go?
Hang tight, Carlos. While we're waiting, we'd love to get to know you guys. We'll call on a few officials throughout these trainings. We'd like to get to know you guys. So if you guys would, as we call on you, just state your name, your background, and how long you've been officiating. So we'll start with you, Mr. Matt Hickey.
Hey, Crystal.
Yes.
How long are we waiting? I mean, because we only got a couple hours. I'm not trying to interrupt anything, but the reason why I'm asking is because what we can do is pop up questions to have them answer them, and then during the presentation, at the end of it, we can check the answers from that, because we got 30 officials on this online, and we can't get to everybody.
All right, hang tight.
We should have 30.
Try the one I just sent you.
Like I said, everyone, technical difficulty. So this is the first time for everything. This pandemic has done a lot of different things. There are some more new things coming down the chute as far as some of the things that they're going to require us to do this year. So stay tuned for all of that. All right.
Alrighty, guys, we're going to go ahead and start our first poll. So you're going to be getting a poll across your screen. Just get some background knowledge, and we'll get going here shortly. So here's our first poll.
How many seconds we give them?
We're going to give them
We'll give them
1 minute.
1 minute.
Okay. Now, these are some of the things we're going to be doing throughout to see your rule knowledge and see what we need to go over as well. Now, don't be afraid if you get it wrong. If we ask who gets it wrong, that you please step up and say, hey, I got it wrong, and this is what I thought, just so we can know how to guide you to the right answer. Okay. 92% committing a fifth foul, 38% committing his second flagrant foul. Okay, somebody who says committing his second flagrant foul, why did you choose that answer? Somebody, anybody, come on, don't be afraid. This is not right or wrong. This is us trying to learn. Nobody? You referee?
Well,
Go ahead.
hey, Carlos, it's Shannon Dawkins. It shouldn't be the second flagrant foul. I think the first flagrant foul will actually disqualify you. So that's why that answer is that's why I didn't put that answer.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's why you. Okay, hold on a second. That's why you didn't. I was asking for somebody that put that answer. So, but okay. Who put the answer? Who put yes?
I chose B.
Okay, why did you choose B?
I chose B because I thought a second like flagrant foul is like the limit of flagrant fouls you can have in one game. So
Okay,
that's why I chose
so
it.
Shannon Dawkins is actually right. The first flagrant foul is an automatic ejection. You got to know the difference between flagrant. Okay, get your rule books from last year and read what a flagrant foul is. Okay, so that is not. Good communication here. Okay, now who? Only one person put committing his or her third technical foul. How many technical fouls does it take to be disqualified from a game?
2.
Okay. Second horn is required at the end of replacement. Okay, so why would we have who chose that one? And why? Hello? Don't be afraid now. I'm just trying to figure out why just trying to talk through these rules. Okay, so if you're looking at it, A would have been the correct answer, committing a fifth personal foul. Because if you do 2 flagrants, that means you let him play too long. And 2 technical fouls on C is the max. And a horn being required at the end of a placement is just a random thing thrown in there. Okay? Everybody understand where we're at?
Yes,
We
sir.
all good on that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so we can throw thumbs up on that. Carmine, were we able to get Carl in yet?
No, we're still working on it.
All right, one more poll question, and then we'll try to do the presentation, please. All right, here we go. All right, now I'm gonna give you a hint. If you've been paying attention to the FHSA website, this is one of the things that they are clarifying in points of emphasis this year.
You can't
and
change
also
your
rule
answer.
change.
You can't change your answer once you submit it, correct?
You cannot.
Okay, then I'm gonna speak up. On
No,
this one.
no. Be quiet.
Afterwards.
Hold on.
5 more seconds, guys.
No, I was trying to.
Okay. 16% true. 16% true, 84% false. All right. Go ahead, Justin, read it and then tell me what the answer should be.
Okay, so read the question for the poll.
Yep.
A warning to a coach/team for misconduct is an administrative procedure by an official. It is mandatory that an official give a warning before giving a technical foul. I personally picked false. However, I did remember reading the rule change, and I think FHSA did change it to that is true, because I'm used to the old rules where anything that results in, egregious behavior, like, profanity to an official, there's no warning given. But now FHSAA changed it where a mandatory warning should be given to a coach before assisting the technical. So that was my fault for picking the wrong answer.
Okay. Well, actually, you had the right answer. See, you overthought it. You overthink. See.
I knew I got it right.
So here's what it is. A warning to a coach team for misconduct is an administrative procedure by an official. It is mandatory. Make sure you read the ruling on the coach. It's not mandatory. Okay? Because if it's egregious enough, you can tech them up without giving them a warning. Okay? So that's why the state went back in, and what they did is they took out the word mandatory, because we a coach say cuss the referee turns around and texts him, and then by the letter of the law last year, it stated, well, how come I supposed to get a warning before that? Well, no, that's not how that worked. So technically, you can give a technical foul if it's egregious enough or you felt that disrespected. You do not have to give a warning. But why would we give a warning? Is game management, and when we have the opportunity, like if the coach is just being loud in his arms and wailing, then you go over and say, hey, coach, all right, that's enough. And then you go to the bench and you say, go to the table and say, hey, I got a bench warning on Green, head coach. Okay? Because if you don't tell the table, you never gave him a warning. If it's not in the book, you never gave him a warning. Okay? So it's preventive officiating. And then, like you say, it is not mandatory, but if you have the opportunity and can give a warning prior to letting it escalate, give the warning. Okay? All right. Everybody else okay? Clear? Understand where we're at with that?
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay.
After that,
Now, all right. Carl yet? Carmine.
No, sir. Just hang tight.
Yeah,
Oh, are we in?
yeah.
Carmine's here.
I think he's getting ready to get on right now. I think we might do one more poll question, because I don't know about you, but I'm really having fun with these questions.
Okay, well, let's do one more.
Go for it.
Okay. Okay, who put any offensive player? Somebody, give me a reason why you put any offensive player. Somebody? Hello, come on. Don't be afraid.
This,
Hey, Carlos, Rafael.
this is Shannon Dawkins.
Now, Shannon, let Raphael answer this one. You answered already, Shannon. Yes, Raphael.
All right, it's any offensive player is wrong. I did put offensive player. I'm reading too quick, didn't think about it. It can only be a player control can only be committed by basically the player with the ball. So an airborne shooter can commit offensive player control. I was thinking team control.
Hey, that's it. An airborne shooter is the person with the ball, and he's the person that can commit a player control foul. All right. Any offensive player, if you don't have the ball, it can't be considered a player control foul. I mean, it's in the definition. I mean, it's right there explaining it to you itself. Player control. Okay. So if other four other members of the court goes and push through a screen or something, what would that be considered?
Team control.
Team control.
Team control.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. And the substitute waiting to get into the game, they're not playing. Okay. So anybody got anything else on this? Everybody clear with what we're talking?
Yes.
Everybody clear on this one?
Yes, you just refreshed my memory.
And that's what this is all about. This is to get everybody back on the same page, back into thinking basketball. Okay. All right. Okay. So now, should I ask or should I not ask?
Don't ask.
Please ask.
We'll let you know,
Don't
Carlos.
hesitate to ask.
Here is one more.
All right.
Okay, one more.
We'll let you
I
know
feel-
when it happens.
I feel we're making progress. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Hey, Jim. Nah, you speak in a minute. I'm gonna have you speak in a minute. We're trying to fill a little time. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Just introduce yourself and just rule interpreter. Yeah. Okay. How much time we got left on the question? All right, so the closing guard account continues when a defensive switch occurs, provided the 6-foot distance is maintained. Nobody picked provided defender has both hands on the ball. Great job on that one. Provided the initial defender stays within 6 feet. Okay, now, and then it does not continue. Who put it does not continue? Just go ahead and tell me why you put it does not continue, please. Don't be afraid now. We're referees. We're here to get it right. There's 3 of you. Somebody speak up, please. Hello. All right. Okay, then. Somebody tell me why they provided the initial defender stays within 6 feet. Come on now. The only way we're going to learn if you guys kind of get active and kind of talk to us about what we're doing here. I mean, don't be afraid to make mistakes. I mean, we all make mistakes I don't, the minute I work a perfect game, the minute I'm retiring from basketball. So please, let's speak up.
Yeah, I just want to say something. I mean, this is all about everybody participating. So if you don't participate, then everybody else ain't going to get the most out of it. So make sure that, when we ask, the question, that's fine. Feel free to answer.
Okay. So if you have your mic muted and you're trying to speak, unmute it. Maybe that's what it is. Hit that little microphone that's got a slash through it. Boop.
So this is
Use your
Kelly. Can you guys
All
hear
right.
me?
Yes, now we can. Yes.
I'm coming out of retirement, I should say, because it's been a while since I've been on the court. But I actually did not pick any of them because I went to press 6 foot and then the time ran out, so my screen emptied. At first, I did think it does not continue, because when a defensive switch happened, I'm thinking, is it because the ball handler was going the switch opposite direction? Like maybe if they were going right and then they were going left and another defender picked up.
See,
So
now
I'm
wait.
thinking that the 6 foot rule didn't apply because because they switch.
Let's back up.
Mm-hmm.
The key word was the other defender did what? Pick
Switch
up. So if the other defender, even if they went right or left and that other defender was still within 6 feet, the count will continue. Okay, so it's like a double team. I mean, if we're double teaming and I ran you into a double team, and then my B2 takes you from where I run you into the double team all the way to the basket, and was it within the 6 feet, that is your 6 feet, and your 5 second count continues. Okay, so and when we talk about team A, it would always mean offense. Team B will always mean defense. Okay, so 6 feet maintained no matter who's guarding. You can have 3 different defenders guard them as long as they're within 6 feet and in proper guarding position. Okay, that's why we throw these questions out here. So what I'm gonna do now is I have our rules interpreter. Jim Mills, which I'm gonna have you guys have him speak to you guys, introduce himself, and give you a few things while we wait a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off and go iPhone speaker, and here you go, Jim.
Thank you, Carlos. Welcome, everybody. This is Jim Mills, your CFOA rules interpreter for this year. Just to give you a little preview, there's not that much involved in any rules changes this year. Mainly some clarifications more than anything else, but you'll get all of that information when we have our annual meeting. The main thing that I want you to understand is that whenever you have a rules question of any kind and you talk to your buddies and you can't, figure it out, please give me either a call. My name and number is listed in Arbiter, or an email, or you can go to the CFOA website and give me your question that you have. Tell me the situation you had. You were 3 minutes into the third quarter and you had this happen and this happened and this happened. This is what we did. What should we have done? I couldn't find anything in the rule book or the case book to help me understand what we had. So I need some help. And I'll be more than happy to either contact you by phone or email or text even, and give you, after I look through the rule books as to, what was the correct, the correct response for your situation. And what I do is I add that to a list of things that I send out during the season, which is like little, bits of information that come across my desk through the questions that I get. So not only do you learn, but the whole association gets to learn. And that helps improve all of our abilities to officiate and hopefully do a better job the next time we go out, or confirm that you did the right job when you adjudicated the situation you had. So anyway, that's all that I have. I look forward to seeing all of you either on the court or at our meeting, at our annual meeting. Good luck.
Okay, I got one more clinician that will be helping out throughout the process. We got time for somebody, right?
Well, I think we have the man of the hour, and that would be Mr. Carl Blair. I think he's on.
Are you on, Carl?
I am on, finally. 30 minutes.
All right.
Okay. Now introducing Mr. Carl Blair, who's going to be the clinician for the night and most of the advanced classes. He's done an outstanding job putting some presentations together. He has some nice videos. He also has some guest speakers that he's lining up to kind of go through some more intense things. So with further ado, have at it, Mr. Carl.
Well, good evening, everybody. I am glad that we finally figured out this technology. If I was about 25 years younger, this would not have been a problem. But I think this technology is wonderful. It's a great way for us to teach and learn. And I'm sorry for the little glints today, but hopefully we work that out and it'll be a lot smoother in the future. Okay? Thank everybody for joining us tonight for our first session of advanced training. We have a lot of good sessions coming up in the future, but tonight we're going to talk about preseason preparation. And that's something we all should be getting ready for now that it has been determined that we will probably play basketball during the 2021 basketball season. So let's move to the first slide. All right, the game is back. So we need to do what we need to do to get started. Next slide. And we should start our season with our preseason preparation. Hopefully everybody, even though we've been going through this pandemic situation, has developed or had some type of fitness program that they started in preparation for the season, as well as doing some rule study with our rule changes and our points of emphasis. Jim started to talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about it a little bit in this presentation. Let's move to the next slide. As a basketball officials preparation for this upcoming season should have started at the end of last season. There should have been a mental and physical preparation for this upcoming season that started at the end of last season. Normally what I'll do at the end of a season is I have probably taken a bunch of notes during the course of the season on games, things that I've done well and things that I haven't done well, which is probably more important because those are things that I can work on for the upcoming season. Okay. After taking a little bit of time off to just wind down and degress from the season ending, I start preparing for the next season with a fitness program, with rule knowledge, with attending clinics and camps during the summer, which is required for collegiate and professional officials that you do all season in-service training. So let's move to the next slide. As I just mentioned, at the end of the previous season, you should have a collection of notes either through evaluations or even self-evaluations that you have accumulated. And I would look over those notes, and that kind of gives you an idea as to what you should work on during the off season. Also, it's a good idea to have some recordings of games that you worked, because you'll be surprised to see on tape what you didn't even realize that you were doing or not doing. So reviewing game takes, I don't know if you all have ever actually broke down a game tape, but that's just reviewing the tape, looking at plays, checking your position, determining whether that was a quality call or not, determining whether you were in the right position to see through the offensive, defensive player and see the ball and see the point of contact. But those are all things that that you should have available as you go through your preseason preparation. And then do an assessment on those areas that you need improvement in. I think the first thing we need to do, not just at the end of the season, but during preseason, during the season, and after the season, is take a look in the mirror and do a self-evaluation on areas that you need to improve in. You need to make a list of your strengths and your weaknesses. And again, you need to review game tape. That'll only help us get better. All right, next slide. Some off-season activities that you may have considered participating in is official clinics, summer camps. I don't know if most of you have ever been to a summer camp, but it is a tremendous learning experience. We have a great resource here in the Orlando area on a normal Sunday, summer. This summer was very abnormal because of the pandemic that we were dealing with, as far as the AAU tournaments that take place during the month of July. That is a great opportunity for officials to get out on the floor, work games, and work on individual growth. So let's start doing that in the future in terms of getting prepared for the next season. We all should have a fitness and conditioning program for the off season that goes into the actual season, and then goes through the next season. Basically, we as referees are not a lot different from the athletes, which means that we have to make sure that we take care of our fitness and conditioning on a yearly basis. So we need to be doing that pre-season, during the season, and in the off season as well. All right, next slide. Rules review. That's something we definitely should be doing in the off season, or when that becomes available. When the rules committee sends that information out, we should take a look at the new rule changes and the new points of emphasis. All right, next slide. And this is just a quick rundown of the rule changes for the 2020 season. Do we still have Jim Mills on the line?
No, sir. Jim is on the court.
Okay. All right, so I'll go through this. The first rule change is Rule 212.5, player replacement. And the gist of that rule is when we have a player that's replaced, at the end of the replacement, there is a requirement for a second horn. That way, everyone knows that at that point we should be resuming play. All right, next slide.
Hey, Carl, do you want Jim to be part of this? Because he's right here with me.
Yeah, he can go through these rules as I go through them. That would be great.
All right, okay, hold on. I'll put him on.
He's our official rule editor.
All right, so let me get it off of this. All right, and getting back to your presentation. Carl wants you to you can go through the rules, rule interpreter, help him out. Yeah, you got it.
Do we do that that question, the pop-up question?
Yeah, that was one of the poll questions that we did while you were en route to joining us.
Oh, okay. All right, the next rule change is Jim Mills.
Yes, sir.
The head coach removal, Rule 541/2.
Correct. Okay, so I'm sorry, say again, Carl?
Are you able to see the PowerPoint?
I see the PowerPoint, yes.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not going to actually, read it, but I did want to, state that it was, rewritten to clarify that whenever there's a forfeiture and because there's not another coach or other school personnel on the bench after the original head coach has been disqualified or had to, leave the confines of the gym, that it clarified the process and added language, as far as directions if there's no coach there. I don't ever remember having this happen in any of the games that I've ever done in 26 years now, but that doesn't mean that it won't happen in your game. So I would strongly advise you to at least be familiar with these concepts so that you understand what it is. If the team that's behind is the one, is the coach that has gotten removed, then the score as it is on the scoreboard is the way it goes in the book. If the team that's ahead is the one that has the coach that's been removed and no adult personnel to take his place, then the other team shown in the scorebook as having won at a score of 2-0.
All right, we're clear on that one? All right, next
Yes.
rule. Okay, rule 10-6, penalty warning.
Correct. And this is just indicating that a warning is only, it's not required if a coach or bench personnel or team personnel on the bench does something so egregious, like, yells some kind of profanity at you personally as an official, or yells any profanity, for that matter. There's no warning that needs to be given to the head coach for that. You just automatically penalize it. And so the rationale was to rewrite it so that the official is the one that makes the choice of whether or not to give the coach a warning. If it's not that bad, like say they get out of their coach's box and you've already asked them, two times now to stay in his box, and they do it again, you go to the table and give him a bench warning. And then if he does it again, you have all the means in the world to issue a technical. But if he comes out onto the floor and is yelling at you as an official or your partner as an official, and you see that, you don't give him a warning. You whack him right there on the spot.
All right, we're clear on that? The gist of that is basically
Yes.
not mandatory for misconduct. You can go straight to a technical foul if the penalty warrants it. All right, our next section is going to be, no, did we skip something?
Nope. Block charge is up next.
What about point of emphasis?
That's coming up.
Okay. Well, actually, this is point of emphasis. The first point of emphasis is block charge.
Correct.
Okay. Next slide. And basically, with these next few slides, it gives you scenarios for a block charge situation. Like the defender has to establish initial legal guarding position. The defensive player cannot extend a hip or knee and create contact, and that sort of thing. So by definition, a block charge occurs when a defender impedes his or her opponents to stop him or her from getting to a direction. If he or she does not obtain a legal defensive position, contact occurs is a blocking foul. I don't know if I want to read through all of this. We'll be sending out this PowerPoint, but in the next few slides, it gives different scenarios for either a block situation or a charge situation. You want to add anything else to that, Jim?
No, again, it's so imperative that you get in the right position so that you can see the defenders in your primary and establish in your mind when legal guarding position is obtained, And then once it has been, do they do the right things to maintain it? That's all I had, Carl.
Yeah. Yeah, just move through the next 5 or 6 slides, because all of them deal with block charge situations. Really, the key to refereeing block charge situation is, first of all, be aware of where the opposite player is going, and then referee the defense. So if you are aware where the opposite player is going and you referee the defense, you're probably going to get the play right.
This looks like a good one, huh, Carl? The guy's got his big hand in the guy's head. That looks legal, huh, everybody?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Not only does he charge, I mean, that may even be a situation where it may be intentional or flagrant, depending on the severity of it. Y'all have any questions about these points of emphasis as it relates to block charge?
No.
All right, let's move to the
Let me ask a quick question. How many people since last season have been thinking about block charge? Raise your hand.
And the next section is guarding. Was there not a pop-up question? Y'all already answered the pop-up question?
Yes, Carl, that was another poll question that we asked. Yes.
All right, our next point of emphasis is guarding. All right, next slide. I use a lot of college slides because the quality of the pictures are just outstanding. And that's because they're using their $5,000 cameras. Okay, this section talks about guarding with the ball and without the ball, because there's certain requirements based on whether you're guarding someone with the ball versus guarding someone without the ball. If you're guarding somebody without the ball, then time and distance is a factor. Okay, if you're guarding somebody with the ball, beating them to the spot, establishing legal guarding position, and maintaining legal guarding position is kind of the basics of guarding somebody with the ball. Guarding, clear.
Let me know you want me to front your fish.
Okay.
Are we good with the guarding? That's the last slide on guarding. Did you do that point question too? That pop-up question too?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
I just missed out on all the good stuff, huh? Okay, this is a big point of emphasis with the Florida High School Athletic Association. And it's something that our veterans, well, some of our veterans don't do a real good job of this either. It does not matter whether you do college, professional, but when you're in a high school game, the state of Florida would like for us to use high school mechanics. And when using high school mechanics, we know that we stop the clock every time we have a whistle, whether it's a foul or whether it's a violation. Okay, so that's something we can work on in the preseason, is every time we blow the whistle in a high school basketball game, that we stop the clock, either with a fist indicating a foul or with our palms open indicating that we have a violation. If you have a held ball, stop the clock first and then give the held ball signal. But let's work really hard in the preseason and making sure that we are very good with that once the season starts. Okay. Also, another emphasis with the state of Florida is once we call a foul, we need to hustle to the scores table, get into the reporting area, stop, and then go through your signal sequence. Very important when you're doing a high school basketball game. I know in collegiate basketball, they allow you to keep moving to the table. But in high school basketball, we need for you to stop, make eye contact with the scorekeeper, and then go through your signal sequence. All right. Need to add anything to that, Jim? He's on mute. He doesn't realize it. All right. And this is just another slide on signals. Fist clench, hands straight up. That is not necessarily a good mechanic. So let's just make sure we use good high school mechanics when we're doing a high school basketball game.
Carl, Mr. Horton.
Yes.
Quick question. Block charge.
Yes.
High school mechanics or the fist? What does our CFOA recommend?
For a player control foul?
That's it. That's more or less, that's correct. Player
Or
control.
offensive foul?
Offensive foul.
Yes, but you stop the clock first.
Got it.
Got it?
Got it.
When you do a high school basketball game, stop the clock every time you blow the whistle. Okay, that answer the question? All right, next slide. Again, this is another video. In the points of emphasis, there were several points in terms of using the proper reporting files.
There's nothing I knew.
Huh? Jim's back with us?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, we were just talking about the Florida High School Athletic Association stressing very strongly the use of proper signals and reporting to the table.
Right, and you can see those signals, every single one of them in the back of the rule book. There is a whole chart of the 40 different signals that there are in our game. And if you sit and practice each one of them at least sometime during a week's period of time in the mirror to see how you look, you will not have any problem whatsoever implementing this particular point of emphasis as far as proper signals go. I know I can speak for myself. I have spent hundreds of hours in front of a mirror looking at my jump ball signal or my out of bounds signal or a foul signal or player control or team control, to the point where if you woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd be able to implement any one of them that you told me that I needed to do at that time.
So real quick on that, let me just add on to that. Signals are a form of communication, okay? Not just for your partners, but for people in the stands that know the game, for the people at the table that knows the game. So if you use your signals, you don't have to say a word 95% of the time, because the people will know if it's a block, if it's a charge, if it's a hand check, where the ball goes into play at, where it goes out of play at, especially if there's something where your partner is all the way at the other end of the court and you're going to try to report something. He already knows where to get to. They know where to get to because of your signals and the communications. So that's why the state really looks for the mechanics to be able to talk to the people in the stands, to talk to people that know the game. That's why they like to stress it.
All right, have any of y'all ever been in a game where your partner blew a whistle and there's like a delay where everybody's looking like, what do you have? Has that ever happened?
Yes, happened plenty of times.
Yeah, it's happened to all of us. That's why it is so important that you use proper signals. This is even a point of emphasis with the NCAA in the last 2 years, because the mechanics on the collegiate level had gotten so bad that in a lot of games nobody had a clue as to what was called. A lot of times we have an out of bounds play, for example, and you point a direction, and you had officials who had a block charge situation, and all they would do was point the direction. So do you have a block charge or do you have a direction? But if you stop the clock, and what I always do, I announce what I have: block, charge, hit, hold, after I stop the clock with my fist. But I always verbalize along with the signal exactly what I have. That way everybody's clear. So this is very important. So in the preseason, let's try to work on this particular point of emphasis if we can. All right, I'll move to the next slide. Again, another slide about going to the reporting area. There's also a factor in there is when at the spot, you go through your mechanic sequence, then you hustle to the table. Clear the players, hustle to the table, get to the reporting area, stop, and then go through your signal sequence. So let's work on that during the preseason as we prepare for the season. We have a poll question. Very good.
I'm not sure if we did 4 poll questions or not. Can anybody help me out?
I think I remember just 3, but I mean, if we
Yeah, we only did 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's put 4 and
Then
see
it
what
ended after that.
I think we did 4. It was closely guarded. I think we did do 4. So.
Okay. I am so sorry that it took me so long to figure all this stuff out, because I would have loved to have been here for these poll questions. All right, let's move to the next slide. Palming and carrying. I think we miss this a lot in high school basketball games. Okay. Now, what we got to look at is the rhythm of the dribble. Okay. Does the rhythm stop for a period of time that the opposite player is able to gain an advantage by freezing the defender? If so, we probably have a palm and a carry. If the rhythm stays pretty much the same, then we're good. But that's usually the biggest indicator that we have a carrier, is when the rhythm stops. Like they're doing this, and then they do this, and it sits there for a minute, well, maybe not a minute, but a couple of seconds, then they're gaining an advantage because now the defense is frozen, and now they restart the dribble and usually get around them. So let's take a look at that in our preseason and see if we can do a better job of calling that. And if we do it early in the season, the players will adjust, and hopefully by preseason tournament time, they'll get better, and we don't have to worry about that anymore. Okay, clarification on intentional and flagrant fouls. We know the difference between an intentional foul and a flagrant foul, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, intentional foul is excessive contact or a foul away from the ball with a player not playing the ball, basically. And it could either be technical or personal. Okay. A flagrant foul is usually violent in nature or non-contact play demonstrating unacceptable, uncivil behavior. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. And this is just the location of the rule in the rule book. Next slide.
All right.
All right.
I think we got your first poll question, Carl.
That'd be great. I've been looking forward to this all day.
Here we go.
When a foul occurs, the official shall verbally inform the offender, then verbally inform the score's number of the offender. Use the right hand to indicate the score, the number of the offender. Use both hands to indicate to the score the number of the offender, both A and C. Start poll. What are you doing it for? A minute?
Yep, we're doing it for 1 minute. Got to give everybody a minute.
I think it's done with me.
Hmm?
I just done with
Okay.
me. I was on the poll question.
Carlos, you did a good job with this. I heard you.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I was just trying to fill in until the real man took over.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad we finally got the one.
Yeah, well, good. All right, I'm gonna go back on mute because I'm gonna be involved here, but I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna
Okay.
be involved with the first years for a minute.
So we got some people that didn't participate, so I'll give you 1 more minute. I mean, no, not 1 more minute, 10 more seconds.
Use wisely.
5, 4, 3, 2, and
All right. 85% got it correct. 15% went with use both hands to indicate to score the number of the offender, which is correct. But what else is also correct?
You got to verbally go and express it to the scorer. We can't see the answers on our side, by the way, to see like the percentages of the correct answers. Just
For the correct answer, 85% of you got it correct. And 15% of y'all selected use both hands to indicate to the score the number of the offender, which is correct. But verbally informing the score the number of the offender is also correct. So it would be
So
A.
A and C is correct.
Yes.
Okay. I only chose C. I forgot to pick A. I mean, I wasn't that confident about it. I was more confident with C.
Yeah. Well, C is definitely correct, but it's very important that you verbalize to the score the number of the player who committed the foul.
yeah, that's one thing, everybody, on the test, that they try and trick you by putting one answer that is correct, but really it's 2. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you really got to read the question and pick the one that's absolutely right and not like half right. Because a couple times I've done that where it says, "Oh, I know that," and then I hit it, and then I go back over the ones on the state test that you miss, and then after rereading it, I say, "Oh my gosh, I didn't pick the best answer." So remember to pick the best one.
All right. Any more questions? Any more questions on that question? All right,
No.
let's move to the next slide. Carmine, you with me? Hello? Carmine? Hello?
Next slide is up.
Yeah, I still see a poll question.
No. You should be seeing clarification of intentional and flagrant fouls.
Yeah, we've already gone through that particular slide. And I'm still seeing the poll question is still up. Now go back to the next slide, the previous slide. The next slide.
Okay, so we just got done with poll question 5. So the next slide is this. Clarification of intentional and flagrant fouls.
Yeah, next slide.
And then we got a poll question, the last poll question. Would you like to take it?
So we have a poll question next. Okay, let's go to the next poll question then.
Super.
Contact that is not legitimate attempt to play the ball, player specifically designed to stop the clock or keep it from starting, multiple choice. Technical foul, intentional foul, flagrant foul, or player control foul.
I believe that's actually the whole definition in the rules by topic that I read in the 2018-2019 version book I bought last year. So I wasn't sure if like they deleted that in the new rule book.
Are y'all polling now? You already did this one?
No,
No, we didn't.
we didn't
We
do
did
this
not
one.
do this.
Yeah, it's a new question.
We only did the first 4, Carl.
Oh, okay. Well, the percentage is already up. You didn't, oh, I missed the timer starting. Okay. All right, on this question, 87% of you all, are you still allowing more time?
I'm going to give them 7 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and
All right.
okay.
The correct answer is intentional foul. And 90% of you all got it right. We have 20% who said it was a technical foul. Who thought it was a technical foul, and could you share with us why you thought that would be a technical foul?
Don't be shy.
Yeah. This is a learning experience.
Carl can't help the 4 people who put technical foul unless you tell him why.
Hey, Carmine, it's Shannon Dawkins. I put technical foul and intentional foul. I guess overthinking, thinking that the intentional is a technical.
No, they're 2 very different calls. Carl, you want to explain them?
Yeah, they are. Intentional foul, of course, is basically, as this is stated, it's not a legitimate attempt to play the ball, which could mean grabbing, holding, grabbing of the jersey or shorts or something like that, or excessive contact, of course. A technical foul in this situation would be more of an unsporting act. Unsporting doing a live ball or dead ball technical foul for profanity or something like that, or taunting and baiting. Those are all situations that would be considered to be technical.
Right. Yeah, I went back to the administration, meaning that they're both going to get the free throws. So that's why I was like, yeah, intentional foul is a technical foul. So yeah, that was just my bad on that.
Different interpretations. You will get free throws for both an intentional and a technical. One of the differences is technicals are administered after the technicals. You're administered a throw in from the division line. For an intentional, you're administered a throw in at the point of the foul. Okay, that's a little difference between those. But you're correct. Both of those are penalized with a 2-shot technical foul. Are we clear on that? Intentional versus technical?
Yes.
sir.
All right, let's go to the next slide. Carmichael, you removed the poll question? I can still see it on my end.
Yeah, there's going to be a little lag, and then
Oh, I removed it. It allowed me to remove it for some reason. Oh, because you co-hosted me. That's right. I'm gonna learn how to do this thing.
you just gotta get that abacus off your desk there. We don't use abacuses anymore.
Abacuses? I have no idea what is this.
Forget about it. I was just
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, this is a very important step in preseason preparation, is making sure that we take care of our administrative responsibilities. Okay, so we need to make sure that we are registered with the state of Florida, as well as registered with CFOA. And we probably need to take care of that as soon as possible. Okay. We also need to make sure that we keep our calendar updated so that we do not miss any scheduled CFOA meetings or state meetings that will be coming up in the preseason. Okay. We are currently having training for our new officials as well as for our advanced officials. But that training can also, let's say veterans can also participate in that training. Again, it's an opportunity for you to get back on the floor and to work on things as we prepare for the upcoming season. Okay, we will have a scrimmage day scheduled on November 7th, I believe, and that's in a later PowerPoint also to confirm that. But that's a great time to come out and work games. Also, you will be evaluated and given feedback on areas of your officiating that will help you get better, hopefully. We need to make sure that we keep up with the test or the exam date, okay, and that we take and pass the state exam. We had a large number of our officials last year who missed the state exam date. So you have to take that exam by the deadline, which I'm thinking, and again, it'll be a later slide. I'll just wait to confirm that when we get to that later slide, okay? Now, this is something that we probably do not think about. Carmine, you skipped. Go back. Can you go back? Okay. How many of you all get a physical examination before the season starts? Raise of hands. Not a lot of us. Okay. But that is a very, very important requirement. On the collegiate level, the officials are required to get a physical every single year. Every other year, that physical must include a stress test. Okay. I'm not sure about the protocol with the NBA, but I am certain that those officials are required to get a physical exam before the start of each season. Okay. And I strongly believe that that's something that we as high school officials need to make sure we take care of, just to confirm that we are healthy and in good enough, condition to referee high school basketball. Okay, so that's something to think about. All right, so make sure we take care of our registration responsibilities with the state and local association. Make sure we participate in training. Make sure we participate in scrimmages. Make sure we take and pass the exam, and make sure we get a physical examination before the season starts. Next slide.
Eric, do you have your hand raised? Eric?
No, that was just me raising my hand when he said raise your hand about the physical. Thanks, Carlo.
Oh, okay.
All right, here is the registration information. All right, the fee, of course, if you just do basketball, it's going to be an initial $45 fee. And for each additional sport, if you do other sports, it'll be an additional $25. And there's a late fee. But let's try to have that done way before the deadline. One reason why we need to be registered is so that if the assigning office should happen to get schedules in, then you can be someone that can be considered for an assignment. So let's take care of that. All right, the registration starts. What's the date? Can you go back? Okay, this deadline, October 19th for registration.
Yeah, you have an initial deadline, and then you have a final deadline. So 10/19, I believe, is the initial deadline, and then the November the 19th. I'm driving, so I can't really see it. Is the final deadline, and anything after that will cost you a fine or a fee to get registered. And then if it's December, they will not allow you to register. You'll lose your whole season.
Everybody clear on that? Thanks, Carlos. All right, next slide.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a series of virtual clinics sponsored by the state that are outstanding. So they are now on the Arbiter website under the Florida High School Athletic Association hub, and you're welcome to go on and look at any of these clinics that have been offered. And why did I put too many L's in clinics? I don't know. But you'll just take advantage of that preseason training information if you get an opportunity. Some really good stuff. Next slide. Examination. This is very important. Examination is a 50-question online exam. And this is what I do. The exam starts on October 12th. What I do is copy and paste. I go on, log in, go on, open up the exam, and I copy and paste every single question onto a Word document. And from October 12th to November 16th, you can take that sheet and fill out the answers to each one of your questions and go back later and put in the answers. So I say that to say there should be absolutely no excuse for us not taking the exam, for one, and not having a high score on the exam, because we have the liberty to actually copy and paste the questions, take them and study, ask your fellow officials for assistance on the question if you're having trouble with it, find it in the rule book, and get the questions right before you submit the exam. So let's make sure that we take care of that. I was very shocked to hear that last year we had an extremely high number of officials that did not take the exam. So mark this in your calendar and make sure that we take care of this before the deadline.
On a side note with that, Carl. So guys, some of the football guys who've done basketball, who have done football this year, the state has contracted Arbiter to do the test, and the test has been done differently, meaning there's more situational plays and things. I mean, again, this is it's harder. The football test was harder. So if it's going to follow the same format as basketball, it's not a, some questions in the old test used to be verbatim right out of the rule book. Well, some of the questions this year may be situational plays that you may have to do a little bit more studying on. Just a FYI, don't know because I haven't taken a test, but that's just from some of the basketball officials. I mean, football officials that do basketball. They were just trying to give everybody a heads up. So just passing that on to you.
Yeah, the thing about the test is, which they started it a few years back, is that there's no time limit. So, I mean, there's a time limit and it's 1 month. So you don't have to rush through the test. You could do 5 questions a week or 7 questions a week, whatever fits around your schedule. So you don't have to rush through the questions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's make sure that we take care of this responsibility in the preseason so we're ready to go when the season starts. Next slide. All right, our training class has already started. Zoom classes for the first year officials started in early, I think on September 24th. Is that correct? That sound right?
Yeah, roughly around September. Actually, no.
August 24th.
August 20th. Yep, starting in August.
August 24th. Okay. So we've had over a full month of training for the new people in September, and now we're starting the training for the advanced people. Okay. Starting with these Zoom classes. And then on October 5th through October 24th, we'll actually be on the floor at Oviedo High School. So mark those dates, mark your calendars, and let's come out and get some work in so that we're ready when the season starts. Any questions on that?
Actually, I got a question referring to the exam. In order to be considered for playoffs, you guys require an 80 or higher on that exam. Has that rule changed?
So, Mr. Martinez, you are only 2 years old. You still will not be eligible even if you get 100 on the test. It is 3 years plus, but still get 100. But yeah, 3 years. You got to have 3 years minimum. You got to be a rank 1 or 2, and generally you can't be a rank 1 or 2 with only 3 years of experience. 2 years of experience.
All right, I hear you.
All right, preseason scrimmage day, November 7th at Oviedo High School. And seems like in the past that started maybe 8, 9 a.m. in the morning and gone all the way up to 4, 5 p.m. in the evening. But we need everybody to participate in this scrimmage day. There were also our evaluation committee members will be there, and we will be doing evaluations all day. We'll have the assigner there, evaluating and looking at officials as well, along with the vice president and all the trainers, of course, will be there, or clinicians. So mark your calendar to be available on that day, November 7th at Oviedo High School. All right, next slide. All right, this is a protocol that you should follow when you receive your assignments. You have to build a calendar for your assignments, and that's kind of when your mental preparation should start for that assignment. Because games are different, matchups are different, and you have to think differently based on the 2 teams that you're going to have. And then you need to do a mental assessment of your crew, okay, because that's important. Am I working with a veteran crew tonight? Or am I working with a inexperienced crew tonight? Because that helps with your mental preparations in terms of what you need to do for, to make sure that that game is covered properly. Okay? So make that part of your preseason protocol. Build your schedule, do a mental assessment of who you will be working with for that particular game. Do a mental assessment of the teams that are going to be playing in that particular game. And if you have knowledge of certain players, then that's something to keep in your memory bank as well, so that you're prepared to handle those situations once the game starts. I mean, if you are aware of a particular player that causes problems in games, then that's some mental notes that you need to have, so that you make sure that you and your crew handle that particular individual when you get to that game site on that particular night for that particular game. All righty. Next slide. This is very important, okay? Officials should do a preseason equipment and uniform check. Some of us may not be the same size we were when the season ended last year. Especially with this coronavirus and the fact that we've been indoors more, probably been in the refrigerator more. We may have put on a few more pounds. So we need to check our uniforms and check our equipment. Check your whistles. At some point in time, you may have developed a crack in the whistle or something. But do an equipment check to make sure that everything is in proper working order before the season starts. And there's something else I was going to say, and we had a senior moment.
Is there any news about using the battery operated whistle?
Carlos, are you still there? I have not heard anything on there being a requirement for using the electronic whistle. Now,
Okay, so I'm sorry, Carl. I was on mute. I was in the store. I'm still in the store. So basically, bottom line is there's some information coming out. I just received some information that I have to read through from the state today. So in the Wednesday's class, I'll be able to. I'll talk to you about it tomorrow and see what how we're gonna go from here. So, but yeah, there's been different talks. So I'll bring that up in Wednesday's class. Okay.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I like to fancy myself as on the cutting edge of technology. So I purchased one of these bad boy babies. It's new. You notice it's still in the package. So I'm waiting to get the go ahead.
Take it out of the package and engage it so we can all see how it sounds.
I never took it out of the package. So I don't know if I need to put a battery. I mean, I can attempt it. Let me open it up. I don't want to take up time, and then I'll see if we can demonstrate it before the night is up.
Carl,
Yeah, well-
I have one if you want me to get it.
You have one engaged?
Yeah, I have it. I just got to get it out of my bag.
Okay, do that real quick and come back to us.
Hey guys, this is Eric Kramer. I could speak on that electric whistle. We used it at the big house for some tournament over the summer. It doesn't really work effectively. It's not loud enough, especially when there's a packed gym.
Well, with Eric saying that, working at the big house, of course, officials have used the regular whistle. Some officials have actually worn masks during the games and kind of tucked the whistle with the lanyard up under the mask, and that's worked pretty well. I don't know what our state protocol is going to be for wearing masks during games. Again, that's something that Carlos can help us out with. But just make sure that you have masks available. And definitely when you go into an arena, you should be wearing a mask all the way into the dressing room. We should probably include in our equipment a small bottle of hand sanitizer that you can actually carry in your pocket. And every opportunity you get, just hand sanitizer.
I'm curious, Eric. Did you use the Fox 40 one? Because this is pretty darn loud.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used the Fox 40.
This one?
I was actually working with Raphael as well during this event. It's when there's a lot of people in there, my partner couldn't even hear me, or vice versa. I couldn't hear him. I would blow the whistle, and the ball will go back on the other side of the court, and nobody could hear you.
Well, this is amazingly. I mean, this is the first time that I took it out of the package, to be honest with you, and this is a lot louder than I thought it was going to be. So.
Yeah, that's pretty loud.
Yeah, but
yeah, there's two models out there that Fox 40 makes. There's the mini and there's that big red one that Carmine has. I have the red one for football. That's a lot louder than the mini, but you do still have to point it.
Yeah,
won't spread.
Me being the big spender, that I think this was like $14, so I splurged. You know, that was a joke. Everybody,
so
don't laugh.
We're laughing, Carmine.
So the point is, though, there have been mixed reviews on the electronic whistles. I mean, even at the college level, they were using them for some of their football games, and plays continued after the whistle blew, and in some, again, depending on how loud the gym is. Carmine, that whistle in a Oak Ridge Evans game, you wouldn't be able to hear it, and that's the only downfall of that is. But again, it's going to be trial and error. So that's, like I say, I haven't been able to read exactly what the state has sent out and some of the things they're suggesting. So after today's class and maybe later on the night and tomorrow, I'll have the opportunity to be able to read their policy and then see exactly how we're going to address either situation. So some say they work, some say they don't, and again, it's going to be trial and error.
All right, Carl.
All right, bottom line is just make sure we check our equipment and make sure everything is in working order. All right, next slide. Okay, our preseason should be a time that we list realistic goals for the upcoming season, and then work out a plan to accomplish those goals for the season. Okay? I want to emphasize, make sure that they are realistic goals. Okay? If you're a young official and you're just starting out, your realistic goals should pretty much consist of making improvements in mechanics, making improvements in judgments, making improvements in getting to the right position to get the right angle to make the right call. Your realistic goals should consist of learning how to communicate with coaches, players, and your fellow officials. That should pretty much be the extent of your goals on a short term for that coming season. Okay, you should be at a point where you are listening and learning and absorbing information to get better. You should be doing as many scrimmages as you can possibly do. You should be doing rules review, points of emphasis review, taking advantage of the fact that you have a mentor, someone that you know, someone that you trust, someone that's going to be honest and giving you information. But you're at that point in your career where your goal should be just to get better, just to get better. The more advanced officials, if the last couple of years you've been doing mostly JV games, then maybe your goal is to do lower level varsity games. Maybe pick up a few lower level varsity games this season. For the even more advanced officials, it may be, I've been working lower level varsity games. Now let's see what I can do to do higher level varsity games, along with working on your mechanics, your judgment, your game management, your communication with coaches, players, and your fellow officials. But those are all goals that you need to set and make sure, the bottom line is make sure they are realistic. Okay? If you are a first-year official, it is not realistic to think that you're going to work tournaments or varsity or regional sectionals or the state championship. That's just not a realistic goal at this point in your career. The thing with young officials is you have to be patient. Refereeing and advancing when you first start out is probably a 5 to 10 year process. Okay? It took me 5 years to work when I first started out, it took me 5 years to work my first varsity game because we had a protocol and everything was pretty much in stone. That you did this for your first year, you did this for your second and third year, you did this for your first and the fifth year, and then you may be considered to do varsity games, depending on your talent level. Do you all believe that referees are kind of looked at like athletes? You have elite athletes, and it's only a few elite athletes, right? There's only a few LeBron Jameses and Zion Williamses and Steph Curry's. There's just a few. And then you have role players. You have players that come off the bench and their role is to get 5 rebounds a game or 10 rebounds a game. A role player that's a point guard and their role is you get 6, 7, 8 assists a game. That's the role. But your role is important because you're on the officiating team. Okay? And I may not be as talented as the next guy, but I have a role. And when I get on the court with that elite official, I have to take care of my role based on my talent level. Okay? So that's what we have to do as an official. I always look at me as an official as an elite athlete. Well, I ask myself, am I an elite athlete? No, I am not. But I can make a contribution and contribute to our organization based on the limited talents that I have. So you have to look at that as an official. And then you have to do a self-evaluation. We had that earlier slide where you were looking in the mirror. You have to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what are areas of my officiating game that I can improve on or that I need improvement on? Okay. Do I need improvement on communicating with coaches? If I'm an official that's always in confrontation with a coach, there is something going on with me where, I work with Carlos and he never has a confrontation with coaches. And it's probably because he has developed a way, whether it's his personality or his training or his experience, where he can diffuse situations without that confrontation with that coach becoming an issue where now you got to call a technical foul. Okay. If you think about, I don't know how many of y'all watch college basketball, but how many times out of the hundreds and hundreds of college basketball games that are played in America, are technical fouls called on college coaches. And that's because those officials are experts in communicating, listening, and diffusing situations before it becomes a problem and leads to a technical foul. But if that's what you need to work on, then that's what you need to work on, okay? If you're always in a bad position and you're missing travels in the post, and the trail or the center is always calling travels in front of you, then you have to ask yourself, what do I need to do as an official to get a better look at traveling in the post? And it probably means simply backing off the inline. You know, we probably need to be 3 or 4 feet off the inline in order to see that vertical view from the feet all the way up to the ceiling. But if you're close up on the inline, you're not going to be able to see that, okay? But you do a self-evaluation of yourself and see where you are, see what your weaknesses are, see what your strengths are, and then that list of weaknesses, then you need to work on, okay? So those are some things that can be realistic goals for you for the upcoming season, okay? I look at this photograph of this official that I have on this slide. Do y'all know Roger Ayers? You ever heard that name before?
No.
Well, Roger Ayers is probably the single best referee in America, okay? I think elite referees have this ability called slow motion recall. You know what that means? It means that they can take something going in fast motion, and in the middle of the play, they slow it down to slow motion so that they're able to see the play from the time it starts, the middle of the play, finish, and then make a determination on whether they need to have a whistle or not. Okay? That's something that we all could use as a goal for this year. Let's try to have a patient whistle, allow plays to start, develop, and finish before we make a decision on putting the air in the whistle. Okay? If my weakness is protecting shooters, because I have a tendency that once a shot is taken, I want to follow the ball to the basket instead of staying with the opposite player and the defender until the opposite player returns to the floor safely. Okay? But do a self-evaluation and make a list of those things that you need to work on for the upcoming season, and then implement those into your goals for this coming season. All right?
Can I interject a second?
Absolutely.
All right, so guys, he said there are elite athletes and elite officials. Now, when we look at these elite athletes, they're just normal athletes with one exception. They put the work in, okay? They're not, they can be just average, good role playing ball players. But if you go back and look at I don't know if you guys seen the series on Michael Jordan, on how much work he put in, how much effort he put into pushing his teammates. So in other words, I mean, to become an elite official, you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not willing to put the work in, you're just always going to remain average. Okay? So that's physically, mentally, eating right, getting the physicals, being able to take constructive criticism throughout the entire course of your life. Because I'm telling you what, even at the NBA level, they are critiqued every single day. College level, you know, because somebody's there wanting to take their place. Okay, just like when we upper echelon in high school, we want to stay there because we know that in order to take our place, you have to outwork them, be able to get along, and how to handle coaches, how to talk to some of your partners, because not every night you're going to have a beautiful game with your partners. Sometimes you're not going to be on the same page, but then how do you get by that? That's what elite referees do. Elite referees can take two different partners on I mean, 3 different partners on 3 different pages and put you guys all on the same page.
Yes.
And then when you walk out and have your post game, it's like, oh man, great job tonight. And you feel a sense of accomplishment. So you got to be able to put the work in. I mean, you got to put the work in.
Okay. Carl, are you with us?
I am. That's a very good point. How's everybody feeling? Good? Thumbs up? All right, let's take like a 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back with a video presentation from this outstanding instructor. Okay? 5-minute break.
You're gonna accidentally lie instead of enter.
Forgive us.
No, this is for me. Okay, Carl.
Yeah, Carla.
I said 8 possible tenders. I clearly said that.
I'm just not sure.
Thank you.
Who is hot?
All right, somebody's on not on mute and got a conversation going.
Hold on, G.
All right, we're gonna get started in about 1 minute, so. That little buzzer that everybody heard, time's up.
Yeah, Carmine, we kind of figured that that's what that was all about. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Everybody back?
I'm back.
I'm back. I'm back.
Yes.
I'm back.
Everybody just type in "I'm back" on the chat, please.
I'm back.
I see Frank Law up there. That's great. How you doing? All right.
Good, sir. How are you, Carl?
I am doing fantastic. Good seeing you.
Good to see you too, sir.
All right. I have decided to use this basketball rules expert classes, courses, video presentations, and we're going to use one of those for each one of our 6 classes. And this guy is just outstanding. He has videos online that pretty much relates to any and every area of basketball officiating. If you want to know about refereeing verticality, if you want to know about refereeing the post, refereeing the perimeter, refereeing rebounds, whatever it is, subject matter that you want to take a look at, he probably has a video on it. So at this time, I just want y'all to take a moment. This video, I think, is about 25 minutes. But just take a look.
Disposal of a thrower, or C, on a free throw, it is at the disposal of the free thrower. So the site.
Restart.
All right, here we go.
You want to take that with you onto the court. You want to have that available to you at any given time. Greetings and welcome to our brand new show, Basketball Rules Expert Show. I'm Greg Austin with theBetterOfficial.com, where we craft video to help basketball officials get better and take control of their officiating career. If you're new here, hit subscribe and the notify bell, because this content is going to be coming hot and heavy over the next few weeks as we get started for the brand new basketball season. In creating Basketball Rules Expert Show, the goal is to elevate the rules off of the written page, breathe life into them, bring forward ideas, concepts, how they all fit together, so that you have a better understanding of the rules, but also be able to take the rules with you onto the basketball court where it's most important. Now, bottom line is, as basketball officials, we need to be expert at our craft. We need to be experts. Rules knowledge is one of the things that almost all officials have the opportunity to shore up the areas where things may be a little unclear, Or if you're a brand new official, this is going to be great for you. We're going to talk about basic fundamentals of the rules, how to apply them, etc. But it's rules all the time. No opinions, no mechanics, no signals, no positioning, no communication skills, just the rules. All right, I'm super excited. Let's get started with the very first episode of the Basketball Rules Expert Show. Let's get started with the show. Question. The following would result in a traveling violation if a player holding the ball lifts their pivot foot and then does which? A, pass the ball. B, shoot the ball. C, begin a dribble. Or D, drop the ball to the floor. Pretty simple question, but it's a great way to start here at Basketball Rules Expert Show, because it forces us to go to the most important rule in the rules book, and that is rule number 4, definitions. Rule number 4, definitions, is a high priority for all basketball officials. It's the starting point. It gives you the fundamental building blocks upon which other rules will refer to and be built. So a high priority for new officials or officials wanting to become basketball rules experts. Our options on the question are pass the ball, shoot the ball, begin a dribble, or drop the ball to the floor. Let's go to Rule 4, Section 44, and have a look. The important article is article number 3, which reads, after coming to a stop and establishing a pivot foot, A, the pivot foot may be lifted but not returned to the floor before the ball is released on a pass or a try for goal. Our first two options in the question were to pass the ball, which has clearly been defined as legal, or shoot the ball, which has clearly been defined as legal. B, if the player jumps, neither foot may be returned to the floor before the ball is released on a pass or try for goal. That's not relevant to the question we're answering. Or C, the pivot foot may not be lifted before the ball is released to start a dribble. Our definition clearly defines that it is illegal to release the ball for a dribble after lifting the pivot foot. So C in our question is obviously the correct answer. But what about option D, drop the ball to the floor? That is not addressed by the rule. This is an important point to recognize, is that not all the things that can happen on the basketball court will be addressed by the rules book. So it's really a great piece of advice to understand that everything is legal until the rules book says it's not legal. Everything is legal till the rules book says it's not legal. The rules book may say, yes, indeed, that is a legal thing. It may say that is definitely illegal, or it may not address it at all. And if it doesn't address it at all, it's legal, right? It's a super important concept to understand as we get started in becoming a basketball rules expert. All right, so our first question, we go directly to Rule 4, the most important rule in the rules book, and we learn a basic concept about applying the rules, and that if it's not expressly illegal, then treat it by rule as legal. Question. The official bounces the ball to A1 for the first of 2 free throws. The ball hits A1 in the leg and bounces away. While the ball remains in the free throw semicircle and before A1 picks it up, B3 requests a timeout. Our options: A, ignore the request and return the ball to A1. B, the timeout request is granted, but not until after A1's first free throw. C, grant B3's request for a timeout at that point. Or D, none of the above. I bounce the ball to the thrower, bounces off their leg. One of the opponents of the thrower immediately requests a timeout while the ball is in the free throw semicircle, but before A1 has picked it up. What are we to do? What this question brings up are a couple of important points, and that is exactly how this show is going to work. We have a simple question. What are the things that what can of worms can we open up about the rules involved in this situation? First of all, let's recognize that what we have in a free throw is a way to make the ball live after the ball is dead. In this situation, obviously, a foul has occurred, and the player is going to the line to attempt free throws. The ball became dead at some point when the foul occurred, and now we are going to use this restart as a way to make the ball live. There are 3 restarts in the game of basketball. There is a jump ball, there is a throw-in, and there are free throws. Those are our 3 ways to make the ball live. The fundamental question on this play is, when can a player request a timeout and have those conditions been met? So when can a player or a head coach request a timeout? Let's take a look at Rule 5, Section 8, timeout. And the rule reads, timeout occurs and the clock, if it's running, shall be stopped when an official, Article 3, grants and signals a player's/head coach's oral or visual request for a timeout, such request being granted only when A, the ball is at the disposal or in control of a player of his or her team, or B, the ball is dead, unless replacement of a disqualified or injured players or player directed to leave the game is pending and a substitute is available and required. Let's take that second part of B, the ball is dead unless, and we're going to set that aside for now. What it's talking about is a situation where, let's say we have a disqualified player. Coach, that player has 5 fouls, they're disqualified. I need a substitute. We have a short period where the coach needs to supply a substitute. The coach requests a timeout. And we say, no, by rule, you can't have a timeout in this situation where we need to replace a player, even though the ball's dead. Every other dead ball scenario, you can always request a timeout. But in this one special instance, no. So let's set that aside for now, and our options are the ball is at the disposal or in control of a player of his or her team, or B, the ball is dead, plus that special circumstance. So those are our 2 options. We can grant that. So when the ball is dead, 5 players from Team A, 5 players from Team B, Team A coach, Team B coach can all request a timeout when the ball is dead. When Team A has the ball at their disposal or have team control, in that instance, only the 5 players from Team A or the Team A head coach can request a timeout. So basically, when the ball is dead, everybody can. When the ball is in possession of a team, only that team can. Obviously, the defensive team can't call a timeout when the other team has the ball. In our play scenario, was the ball live? The official bounced the ball to the thrower. Had the ball become live? That's our fundamental question. When does the ball become live on a free throw? That's a simple question, and that's something we have to know. Let's take a look at Rule 6, live ball. And we'll take a look at Article 2. The ball becomes live when, on a jump ball, when the tossed ball leaves the official's hand. B, on a throw-in, it is at the disposal of the thrower. Or C, on a free throw, it is at the disposal of the free thrower. So the ball will become live when it's at the disposal of the free thrower. But the ball's right there. They can pick it up, right? By rule, is the ball at their disposal in our play scenario where I bounce the ball? I hit the player in the leg. Sorry, man. The ball's bounced at their feet, and before they pick it up, a timeout request. Has the ball become live? We can answer this question if we refer back to our good friend, Rule 4, Section 4. ball location at the disposal. At the disposal is defined in Rule 4. That's why Rule 4 is so important. Article 7. The ball is at the disposal of a player when it is A, handed to a thrower or free thrower, B, caught by a thrower or free thrower after it is bounced to him, C, placed on the floor at the spot, or D, available to a player after a goal and the official begins their throw-in count. The ball becomes at the disposal when it is caught by a thrower or free thrower after it is bounced to him. I bounced the ball to the thrower, it hit them in the leg, they never caught it. Therefore, it's not at their disposal. Therefore, it's not live. If it's not live, it's dead. During a dead ball, who can request a timeout? 5 players from Team A, 5 players from Team B, head coach from Team A, head coach from Team B. Any of those can request a timeout. This is our scenario. B3 has requested a timeout while the ball is dead. That is legal, and we should grant the timeout. Our answer is C. Grant B3's request for a timeout at that point. Question: when does a free throw start? Ooh, ooh, ooh. After the session we just had with the previous question, this should be pretty obvious. When does a free throw start? A, when the ball is released on a try. B, when the official releases the ball on the toss to the free thrower. C, when the ball is placed at the disposal of the free thrower. Or D, when the official walks in to administer the free throw. Clearly, the answer is C, when the ball is placed at the disposal of the free thrower, as we learned in the previous question. Question: A1 attempts the first of 2 free throws for a technical foul. Who may attempt the second of the 2 free throws awarded to Team A? Answers: A, any Team A substitute that the opposing coach selects. B, any of the other 4 Team A players the opposing coach selects. C, only A1 who shot the first free throw. Or D, any eligible Team A substitute, any of the other 4 Team A players, or A1 who shot the first free throw. Simple question. We're going to find the answer in Rule 8, Section 3. Attempting technical foul free throws. Wow, this is a simple rule. The free throws awarded because of a technical foul may be attempted by any player of the offended team, including an eligible substitute or designated starter. The coach or captains shall designate the free thrower. So it's clearly defined. May be attempted by any player of the offended team. Remember, at any given time, we only have 5 players. Those are the players who are on the court, including an eligible substitute, a team member who's on the bench and eligible to participate, or designated starter. And that's included there because we have let's say a pregame dunk by the opponent. We're going to start the game with an attempt of technical foul free throws. That may include a designated starter because they're not yet a player. If you think about this to absurdum, you sort of think this through, this rule through. Let's say there were multiple technical fouls, and this team is going to attempt 6 free throws related to technical fouls. They could have substitute number 1 come off and shoot the first one, substitute number 2 come off and shoot the second one, number 3, the third one, 4, the fourth one, 5. The player at the end of the bench who never gets to play, the coach say, hey, I want that guy to shoot my free throws. All of that is feasible because any player or eligible substitute. That's the key takeaway. Who can attempt a technical foul free throw? Any player or eligible substitute. Simple, clear, concise. You want to take that with you onto the court. You want to have that available to you at any given time. somebody asks you in the middle of a game, who can shoot the technical foul free throws? Any player or eligible substitute. That should be just like coming off your lips as soon as the question is asked. That is going to wrap it up for our very first episode of the Basketball Rules Expert Show. If you haven't already done so, you can like and subscribe below. Here's a challenge. I've created a quiz that encompasses all the things that we've covered in the video today. It's at abetterofficial.com/expert01, or you can just click the link above. Hey, if you want to support the show, you can always buy us a cup of coffee at abetterofficial.com/coffee. All right. Here's some additional video contact. Here's a video that I recommend, and here's a video that YouTube thinks would be the best video for you. Make your choice, and we'll see you in the next video.
How did everybody like that?
I learned a lot from it.
Yeah, that he has some outstanding videos, and we're gonna go through several of his videos in the coming weeks and classes. We'll do episode 2 for the next class, and of course 3, 4, 5, all the way up to episode 6. But he has some great videos. It's a tremendous learning experience. So you all are welcome to go online and just Google. All you have to do is Google basketball expert, and his videos will come up, and you can watch a video on almost any topic that you can think of. So this is a great training tool, and I hope you all will take the time to look it up and look at some of the videos and enjoy the learning experience. Okay. All right, our next video is I've noticed I've been here in Central Florida for about 8 years now, but something I noticed when I first got here was the fact that we have some young officials that have had some tremendous success on the NBA level and on the collegiate level. So what I would like to do for our classes is to introduce and allow y'all to hear from some of the officials that were in the same class you're in, as well as the University of Central Florida class, who have gone on, they put in the work, as Carlos mentioned earlier, and they've taken advantage of the opportunities that were extended to them, and they're experiencing a lot of success. I think when I did the research or Google search, there are 4 or 5 of our local officials that are in the NBA. Steve Anderson is now an NCAA official working in most of the major college conferences in the country. John Conley is one of our young officials that got picked up about 3 years ago. And there's several others. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put out a link that lists all of our officials in our area who have been very successful. But this next video, we're just going to listen to a video with Steve, basically mentioning how he got started and how the Central Florida officials class was very helpful for him in starting his NBA college career. So let's listen to the video on Steve Anderson.
I didn't really know a whole lot about officiating other than watching like football and basketball on TV, and I know that you could work as an official. Me and my roommate decided to go. It happened to be the last day that they were hiring. I got started as a sport-by-sport official. First day of football, I wasn't on the schedule. Happened to go out to the flag football fields. Someone didn't show up. They put me in the game right away, and that started my intramural career. This gym here is actually, where I worked my first intramural basketball game. Got thrown into the fire.
It's interesting because Steve came in as this scrawny freshman and applied to be an official on our staff, and we were going through an interview process of hiring staff officials. I noticed a lot of potential in Steve, of someone that seemed like he was very interested in, but also someone who could really grow as an official.
I would say that if it wasn't for Jim, I don't know if I would be where I'm at today. It was my first semester, fall of 2000. Being my first semester, not many people knew who I was, so all the other supervisors had a favorite guy that they wanted to bring in for the guy that was quitting.
Some of the other staff were curious, who's this Steve guy? And well, he came on board, he was an intramural supervisor, continued to develop his officiating, went on to become one of our lead intramural supervisors, and quickly developed as a basketball official.
Coming in, you don't realize that you can make a career out of it and realize how much money you can end up making. When you start $7 an hour to do this, that's great, rather than going to bag groceries. But then being able to make $100 a game doing JUCO, well, that was really cool. And then obviously as you move up the ladder to Division II, then Division I, and then on to the pro game, the pay continues to get better and better. Getting my start at UCF and then learning about NERSA. When I started, did I know that I could become a graduate assistant in intramural sports? Did I know I could become an intramural sports coordinator? Things like that. No, I didn't.
Even in our advertisements to become an official, we will show a picture of Steve having an interaction with a coach in the NBA and saying, hey, you could become the next one. To just see right now, there's 2 of his peers in the NBA that started officiating here that work with him in the NBA. There's currently 5 former students that took our program that are officiating in the developmental league of the NBA. And he's been a mentor to those 5. And then those 5 are mentoring other students. And it's this whole culture we have of officiating development.
Another big key of officiating is obviously teamwork and trust with your partners on the floor, on the field, and whatnot, communication. And that helps you in the real world, especially dealing with conflicts and things like that. You're going to have conflicts on the floor, on the field. You're going to have conflicts in real life. So having that opportunity from officiating and transferring to the real world really helps.
All right. There is one of our own. So Steve is an example of what you can accomplish if you put in the work. So that's what I need for all of us to do, is start putting in the work for the preseason so that we are ready to go to work when the season starts. Okay. Do we have any questions at all in reference to this presentation that was given today as it relates to preseason preparations? No questions?
Let's not be shy, everybody. There's got to be a question.
Everybody clear on what we need to do to get ready for the season? Check your equipment, uniform, make sure that's in order. Take those notes from last year.
Okay, Daniel, it looks like Daniel has a question. Daniel, can you put your microphone on or no?
Yes, hello.
Hi, Daniel.
Hello. Yeah, I'm curious as to where we find the FHSA equipment. I am the one who I've been in contact with a lot of people down there. I'm from Ohio. I'm currently in Ohio right now, but the months of December and January, I'll be down there living in our place there during those months. So this would be my first year in Florida. This is my 7th year reffing in Ohio.
Okay. You want to answer that, Carl?
The uniforms, well, since I've been here, I've always gotten the uniforms from Chad Walker.
Can you, we're having a little trouble hearing you, Carl. Can you speak into the microphone?
Yeah, can you hear me? You hear me now?
Yeah, it just doesn't sound like it did before. Sounds like you're far away.
I don't know what happened. But I'm doing the same thing I've been doing all day.
There you go. There you go. Whatever you did just now got louder.
Yeah, I guess I had it semi-muted or something, the volume down. Yeah, but I've gotten the equipment, all of my equipment from Chad. Is Carlos still on?
Yeah, he
Yes,
was on.
I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm still on.
Yeah, where would Daniel be able to get his equipment? The shirts, jackets?
So what we do is we support purchase official supplies because they kind of come up. November the 7th, he will be up at our scrimmage, which is kind of real late in the season. But if you look in the very back of your rule books from last year and this year, there are names of official what I want to say, official FHSAA official, the people that can sell FHSAA gear. So
Okay.
the purchase official supplies who I like to support because they've given us gifts, to hand out for some of our classes in the past. So I would push you guys toward purchase official supply.
Yes.
And let me see. Hold on a second. I got a rule book here, and let me see if you guys can see it. Yep, it's on the very last page. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Purchase official supply. The phone number, if you guys want it, is 800-767-2233. And they generally have a starter package, especially for officials getting back into the game or new officials. They have our CFOA jacket with the logo that can be added to it. So, so that's who I would push you that way, but there's other official supplies
Well, I
that
know
are
Carlos with the jacket, the office sells the jackets.
the purchase official supply. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
All right. So they shouldn't have any jackets. All those jackets should have been sold out by now. If they're not, then we'll let that. At the meeting, that can be something different. Okay. But yes, that's it. That's what I would look forward to. Like I said, there's others in the book. I just don't know. Smitty's is in the book. So there's a couple more. If you got your Honings, yeah, you get your rule books. You can kind of look through them, and they're advertisement throughout the entire rule book.
My question then is, where can I find a rule book, a Florida rule book?
Okay, so the rule books. This year we will be getting hard copied rule books. So make sure you're registered and signed in with FHSAA. And the minute that I receive the order or package, hopefully it is, like I say, October through, I forget the dates. I'll get the dates out there on every night that we're going to be having scrimmages and games. Not everybody's going to be invited to the gym, so we're going to put out a schedule. But, if you want to come by, grab a book, even if you're not working, and see some of the other people working, I will have books at Oviedo High School. Like I say, I'll put the dates out. As soon as I get the books, I'll put the dates out, letting everybody know, hey, I got rule books. You want to meet me at this place at this time. you come by and we can hand out rule books. So just waiting on the state to get those to us. But you must be registered with the state, FHSAA, and then you must be registered with CFOA in order to be able to be given a rule book along with your basketball card for the year.
Daniel, are you currently in Florida or are you still in Ohio?
Yes, I'm currently in Ohio. I go to the University of Toledo up here. So the past few years I've refed, in Ohio, and I'll be coming down. I'll try my best to come down for that. October 7th weekend to get some on floor experience.
It's
Or
November.
November 7th.
November 7th is like the our general membership, kind of the weekend right before the school starts. I mean, for the basketball season starts, because it gives us the opportunity to work boys and girls that weekend, because then the girls season starts that Monday. But between October, gosh, like I said, I just got into the house. Let me go ahead and talk a little bit. Let me see if I can pull up the dates of when we will be having the scrimmage games while I'm talking to you guys. And that way you guys can kind of put these dates down in your schedule. In fact, again, I was kind of waiting on a little bit more information. Now that I got it from the state, I'll be able to put some of these things out for you. But all right, computer, come on up. So, but yeah, it's so now as far as you receiving the rule book, what you can do, David, correct? Let me make sure I'm saying the right name.
Yes.
Daniel.
Okay. Daniel. All right, Daniel, what you could possibly do is I do have a couple rule books from last year. And if you don't think you're going to be able to make it down, what we can do is I can possibly go ahead and mail you a 2019-2020 book to where you can kind of start looking through it. Because like I said, not very many changes. You saw those changes that they went through the day. What the heck is going on? Okay.
Also, if you go to nfhs.com, you can, for a small fee, you can download the rules book and have it on your telephone, if you like.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Carlos, I have a question.
Okay. Hold on. Let me give you guys the dates. I got them in front of me real quick. Okay, so the first time on the court is going to be October 3rd. We're going to be running 2 gyms from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and games are on the hour. You got October the 5th. You got 3 games in 2 gyms. October the 7th, 3 games in 2 gyms. Then you got October the 10th. We'll be doing 4 games in 2 gyms. October 12th, we'll be doing 3 games only in the old gym. And then October 14th, we got 3 games in 2 gyms. 17th, we got 4 games in 2 gyms. And then the 19th, we got 3 games only in the old gym. And that will conclude the on the court part of our training. And this year, just so you guys will know, what the goal is to use some of you guys, the second year all the way up to the veterans, with the first year officials. So the goal is a veteran, mid-levels, 2 to 3 year official, and then a first year official running, 3-man games. And not necessarily, it may not be the whole game. It might be a half. And, basically they do half. So it'll be a half, and then we'll get another group to come in and do another half. So this year we're teaching everybody 3-man. So brush up on your 3-man mechanics. And that is the plan. And then, like I say, once we get a little bit further along, we'll start developing the schedule based on how many people show up for these Zoom meetings as far as the veterans and how many classes you come. And then also then we'll put it out there as far as, okay, here's the dates. When are you available? You don't have to come to them all. Transfers, we like for you to come to at least 4 of them. I think that's what I said, or 5. I can't remember, but however many I mandated at the beginning. So look at your list and tell us, hey guys, these are the dates I'm available, and we can move forward from there. So those are your dates. And again, you'll see these dates again, but go ahead and put these into your calendar. Start looking at your schedule, planning ahead. And if you already know dates that you're not available, I would email Carl and Crystal, myself, and say, hey, you know, guys, for sure I'm not available these days. Because once we put a schedule together, just like what the assigner would do, you know, if you don't have these dates scratched, that means you're available. So if you're assigned a game and then you go in and turn around and say, oh, by the way, I'm not available this day, and then he takes you off and then you become available that day, unfortunately, you will not be able to be booked because he's already scratched you. So it should be a good practice as far as letting us know your availability on these dates as well. Okay. And then, okay, I'm sorry. Now, who else had it? Everybody understand the dates? Everybody got the dates? And again, they're coming out. You know, they'll be coming out in a written form real soon. It's just I was just waiting on more information. Okay. Everybody good with the dates?
Yeah, Carlos, I have a question regarding the scrimmages. What will be the attire for the scrimmage games? Like kind of like last year?
Black and white shirt. Everybody be in a black and white shirt, and then black shorts and black tennis shoes, black socks, or predominantly black shoes, and you know, black socks, whistle, you know. So that would be the attire.
All right. And then same location, Oviedo High School?
Yes, sir. Oviedo High School.
Hey, Carlos, I have a question too.
Yes.
All right. I remember you was saying last year in class for varsity games, like when we get a raise, are there going to be like 2-man reffing or 3-man as always?
Well, as of right now, we are pushing the 3-man. None of the schools have kicked back, but the schools have a right if they. So, say for instance, you have a girls team that you have a Lake Highland Prep versus I mean, I don't want to say a team that's, you know, an overmatched team. You know, the school may opt to only have 2 officials versus paying, you know, that extra money to have a 40-point blowout. So, but they have not pushed back as far as the schedule is concerned. We're planning on working 3-man when it comes to varsity. So, but again, that is the school's options, and we still haven't seen schedules yet. So, but that's what we're pushing for.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. My name is Isaac Rose, and I'm a transfer from South Carolina, and I got 18 years in, and I'm trying to, try to register with you guys. Do I need to go to the arbiter to register with the high school league, or I need to register with what process I need to go about that?
Okay. So the first thing you need to do, like the slides that Carl was showing, you need to go to FHSAA and then go to the officials page, and then you need to register with the state first. Okay. Now, what would help is you need to get your Jessica Lunsford fingerprints done. Okay. And it's either in Seminole County or in Osceola County. Now, the Osceola County has been the easiest. I do have the 2 forms to where I can send you a copy of each form on where you need to go. And then you get the fingerprints done, pay for them. But again, you register. They will not make you active until the fingerprints come back to us. But then at that time, you need to also go onto CFOA website and then CFOA.com. And then on the very main page in the upper left-hand corner, there's a little red button that says membership dues. You need to go on and pay your membership dues to become a CFOA member. And then once that happens, then, you know, your arbiter account will become active once your fingerprint comes back. And then you'll be registered with the state and so on and so forth. So just kind of, everybody will have copies of this presentation. You should be able to get back to it. see it. So you can go to some of those pages that Carl has as a presentation and kind of follow the guidelines that are there.
Okay, what another quick question? I'm law enforcement, so is that I still have to go through the same process?
Unfortunately, yes. The two databases, for whatever reason, do not communicate, especially with you coming from another state. They're gonna, I mean, because even my wife had to go until they changed this rule, but she'd already went and paid for her fingerprint. She teaches for a school system, and and she had to go get fingerprinted until they come up with now it just has to be fingerprinted within the state and accepted in the state database. So yes, you have to go do fingerprints.
Okay, that's no problem.
All right.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Daniel, do you have a question? Daniel?
Yeah, my question was, I'm on that purchaseofficials.com, and there are a few different style shirts, jersey tops for the referees.
For the FHSAA, we wear gray.
So and let's clarify just a little bit. CFOA is wearing gray. There are some associations that still are in the black and white. And reason why we do gray is because at the state tournament, that's what is required is the gray shirts. Now, the minute the state tournament goes to black and white, we're probably as an association going to go back to black and white. But until then, we're staying gray. So, and then, like I say, if you can call that number and talk to Purchase Official Supply, and he knows exactly what we're using. He knows we're using the grays, and like I say, the jacket and everything else. So, but it's the grays. It's the gray shirts. I know they got the black and white, which are different styles, but we do the gray pinstripe. Okay.
Okay, I appreciate that.
All right. Anything else? Anybody else? Carl, you got anything else you'd like to add?
No, I really appreciate everybody taking time out of their schedules to attend this Zoom class. Trust me, this has been a learning experience for me. Just simply logging in and going through the presentation, but I hope that it was very helpful in allowing you to get better prepared for the upcoming season. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, the training team, and we'll be glad to answer those questions for you. All right. But thanks everybody for joining tonight, and we look forward to seeing you on the next Zoom meeting, which is scheduled for Wednesday in a couple of days. And the topic of that meeting is going to be dealing with a pregame conference before your game, which I think is one of the most important things that we do as officials, is to have a good, thorough pregame, which mentally prepares us for what we are about to encounter when we get out on the floor to referee the game.
Okay.
One thing I'd like to add, if you guys have a FHSA officials manual, I mean, that's an important book that needs to be read, as well as the rule book. Okay. Now that we're past our first year and we're into the advancement of our careers and we're veterans, we need to revisit that book just as much as we revisit the rule book. Okay. Because, and one thing that Carl's going to go over is, somebody walking into a locker room and your pregame is communicate, and that's the extent of it, then that is not a good pregame. And some of the things that, we need to pay attention to is also in the officials manual on some of the things that he's going to cover. So come prepared, do some homework, read through some of your books about pregame. See if there's things that can help you. So when Carl goes over some of this stuff, if you have questions from whatever you read through the officials manual or even through your rule book, about some of the things we've covered, you know, bring them up. I mean, I don't know how many of us have mentors or have had mentors, or some of us who are mentors. You know, we need to be able to discuss basketball, bounce things off. I mean, because Carl and any veteran official in the CFOA association will tell you, we challenge each other on rules and different things all the time. So it doesn't stop after this class. You know, it's going to be continually all season long. And again, I appreciate everybody jumping in, being involved with listening to the videos. I'm glad everybody kind of learned some things. And again, we all gonna make mistakes. As I have told people in the past, the minute I work a perfect game, I am retiring because I can't do any better than a perfect game. So have fun, everybody. I appreciate everybody. And everybody can, you know, have a good night. Carmine, Carl, can you guys stay on for a quick second after the class is over with?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See
Goodbye.
everybody on Wednesday. See you on Wednesday.
See you too.
Deuces. Man.
Oh, somebody asked a question, where will these meetings be available, the recordings, if you can't make the training? So, okay.
Yeah,
all
this so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna according to Crystal, I can get two sessions on a jump drive. So